Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD, and I'm back with another quick video. And today's video topic is going to be about how we need to get out of that mindset of living in fear. So before we get into the video, if you guys are interested in fitness, health, and overall growth content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can get updated every time I drop new content. But let's get back into the video topic. The subject is living in fear, and that's something that I feel like pretty much the majority of the world is doing at this point, and in this point in time, because there's so much fearful things. There's so many scare tactics being used by the media, and just keeping people in a state of almost like paralysis, because they're so scared to do anything because they've been told that the world is this dangerous, crazy place, and you shouldn't like these people, you shouldn't like that people, it's dangerous to do this, it's dangerous to do that. It's an economic crisis. That there's always so much negativity thrown out there in the media that people seem to just be in a state of fear at all times. But what I really wanted to talk about in this video is more so a few particular instances where we live in fear, and this is something that I feel like the majority of us have gone through. They are either going through, or we've either gone through it at some point in our life. And the number one way I believe people are living in fear is when it comes down to that scarcity mindset of money. So you can look at the scarcity mindset and money in a lot of ways, but the way that I want to touch on it is in the way that we go about being employed, or the way we go about making our money, and how a lot of us have stuck around at jobs that we can't stand, jobs that we hate, due to the fact that we have that scarcity mindset of money. We're worried about how we're going to pay our bills. We're worried about how we're going to pay rent. We're worried about how we're going to put food on the table. So when it comes down to that scarcity mindset, it's keeping you in a state of paralysis, because when you go to work, you're spending like 40 hours a week at that job. So that's taking up the majority of your time. So if you're living in that fearful state of not having enough or not being able to provide for yourself, then that's kind of set you up for a dead-end type situation. You're basically working a dead-end job, because this is a job that you don't like. It's probably not providing you that much money, and it's taking up most of your time, and your time is money. Your time is really the most important asset that you have, and you're pretty much giving that away for peanuts. You know what I mean? You're giving that away for peanuts, and on top of that, you're living in a state where you're just unhappy because you can't stand what you're doing for a living. That's why they say you're doing it for a living, because you're living a big majority of your life at that place, at that work spot, at that work site. So this is something that we really need to be mindful of, and sometimes we might need a kick in the ass, and we might need that message that it's time to leave this place, it's time to leave this job. At the end of the day, you got to think about it. If you're working at a place that you can't stand, if you're working at a place that brings you no joy, more than likely this place doesn't even really pay you fair wages anyways. Why are you so scared to leave this place? I'm pretty sure you can get a job that gives you all these negative traits anywhere. There's plenty of jobs out there like that. So what we need to do is put our mind towards something that we really want to do, put our mind towards something that brings us passion, start our own business. You can work your dead-end job or whatever it may be, or work your job that's not bringing you any joy. Your job might pay you $200,000 a year and you can't stand it. But you can work these jobs that you don't like, but just make sure that you're on your 5 to 9, like my homeboy G always says. My homeboy from Success Chasing series, he's always talking about his 5 to 9. What that is after you get off that 9 to 5 shift, you come home and you do your 5 to 9 shift, which is working on your side hustle, working on your exit strategy. You know what I mean? You should always have an exit strategy for these type of jobs that you don't like. So that's probably my number one, example of how a lot of people are living in fear. But another example of how we're living in fear is when we get into these relationships. We have a scarcity mindset in terms of relationships, and a lot of times we stay in these relationships that we don't really even want to be in. We want to be single. We want to be, with other women, or for a woman, sometimes she wants to be with another man other than the man that she's with, but they get into this scarcity mindset that if they leave this person, they're not going to be able to find anybody. And that couldn't be further than the truth. There's more than one person out there for everybody. You know what I mean? There's more than one match is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should have more than one person at the same time. I'm saying there's more than one match for everybody. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, And a lot of times that's what people are scared of, is they don't want to spend that time in solitude. They don't want to spend that time by themselves. But a lot of times when it comes down to breaking up with somebody, or when it comes down to leaving a relationship, that's what we need anyways. We need time to heal. We need time to get to know ourselves after we've exchanged energies with that person for a certain amount of time. But living in fear and living in that scarcity mindset that you're not going to be able to find anybody else as good as the person that you're with now, that's a terrible mentality to have. Because, you know, if you're not happy in the situation that you're in right now, then, you know, you're better off being alone. So, and 100% of the time you're going to be able to find somebody else better than the situation that you're in right now. So it's always a good idea to keep that type of perspective, keep that abundance mentality. And when I talk about abundance mentality, I'm not saying being gluttonous and, you know, going out there and getting as many women as possible. I'm talking about abundance mentality, that there's enough women out there for you, you know, whenever you decide to go out there and start getting back on the dating scene or whatever that may be. So that's another example of, you know, having that fearful mindset, having that scarcity mindset. And the third example I want to talk about in this video about living in that scarcity mindset, living in that fearful mindset, is that, you know, a lot of times we want to make moves in life. We want to make major changes in life, you know, and it could be moving out of state. It could be moving to another country. It could be, you know, going back to school and starting a different career path. And a lot of times we're scared of our own success. We're scared to take that chance, to take that leap of faith. And this is one that I think we really need to get out of the habit of doing. Because, you know, no matter what you do, any move you make that's forward progress is going to be the right move. So you have to keep that in mind. And that's something me and my homeboy was talking about like last week. Any move is a right move. And then I was chopping it up with this female that I was kicking it with, or I've been kicking it with, you know, the past couple weeks. We were talking about it too, and it just became a topic that kept coming up. Is like any move is a right move, as long as you have the right intent, and as long as you're, you know, putting your energy into whatever, you know, that move might be. So I believe that, you know, no matter what situation you're in, you know, God's always going to have your back. The universe is always going to have your back when you putting that right energy out there. So for me personally, I think that taking a risk is a good thing, especially if you're a young dude in your 20s. If you're a young dude in your 20s, you need to be taking risks, for real. And I'm not talking about penitentiary chances. I'm not talking about, you know, illegal risks. I'm just talking about risks in general. If you want to go move to Japan, bounce out and go move to Japan. You know what I mean? Quit your job, save up some money, go bounce out and move to Japan. What's the worst thing that can happen? You got to come home, okay? You know what I mean? But at least you tried. And at the end of the day, most of us have a family who's willing to take us back in if we need to get back on our feet. You know, I know not everybody has that situation, but the majority of us have, you know, a mother, a father, you know, a family member who's willing to take us in until we get back on our feet. It might be in our hometown where we might not want to be, but at the same time, you took that risk to go move someplace, and now you got, you know, kind of a security blanket. It might not be the one that you necessarily want, but at the end of it, but really, in all reality, 99 times out of 100, if you take that risk to go move out to Japan, or you take that risk to go move out to Europe or South America, wherever you want to move to, I guarantee you that, you know, you'll be able to land on your feet. It's just one of those things that happens. You know what I mean? When you move I met so many people when I was living out in Japan. So many brothers that just came out to Japan, didn't have a visa, didn't have nothing. It was like, man, I just came out here and I'm trying to make it happen. You know, anybody who can give me a job teaching English, you know, and that's what they were doing. They were out there trying to network, trying to meet people, see if they can find somebody who can give them a job, see if they can figure out a way to get a visa. And man, a couple times with cats who I knew out in Japan, it was down to like they had 90-day visas, and they were down to like day 80 something, and then day 80 something, maybe even day 89, they found a job and found a company that was willing to give them a visa. So, you know, things tend to work out like that in life. So we have to get out of this mindset of living in fear. It's a terrible mindset to be in. Scarcity mindset is a terrible mindset to have. So get out of that mindset of living in fear. one thing I did want to mention, this is something that me and my pops were chopping it up about the other day, is that, you know, my belief is that heaven and hell is not a place where you go, you know, after you move on from this life, after you know, pass on. Heaven and hell is a place where you can be at, you know, in this current life. Heaven and hell is a mindset. That fearful mindset is a mindset that sends you into a living hell. You know what I mean? When you live in fear, you're living in hell. There's some other, you know, mindsets that you can have that you can be living in hell as well. But that fear one, that for sure is one of them. And, you know, living in heaven in life, you know, living in heaven is like living in bliss, you know. So that's another thing I kind of want to chop it up about, is like trying to take the righteous path in life and not always trying to, you know, man, it's popular nowadays for people to try to have like this Machiavellian type mindset when it comes down to, you know, the way they maneuver in life. And for me personally, it's just like that book, 48 Laws of Power. I read that book probably when I was about 24 years old. And I read the book and it just never really sat right with me, because like the whole book was kind of like how you can like weasel your way into getting to the #1 spot, how you can snake your way to getting to the top. And, you know, I don't necessarily resonate with that. I've always been somebody who tries to live my life in a righteous way. And when you're living your life in a righteous way, you're pretty much on heaven on earth, because, you know, when you live your life righteous, you're pretty much living in bliss. So that's what we need to be striving for. That's what we need to be trying to do every day, and trying to better ourselves every single day. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I have to talk about in this video. Get out of that fear mindset, get out of that scarcity mindset, get into that mindset of abundance, live righteous, and, you know, your life will improve. But anyways, guys, if you guys have anything to add to this video, go ahead and drop me a comment. Also, one of my subscribers recently had asked me, do I do video topic requests? And yeah, I do video topic requests. If you guys give me a topic that I know, that I feel like I can chop it up with you guys about and I have some insight on, I'll make a video about it. But if it's a topic that I really don't know anything about, I don't like talking about things I don't know anything about, so I probably won't do that. But yeah, go ahead and leave me any, you know, video topics that you guys want me to touch on. And also go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. If you feel like you know somebody who can benefit from this type of content, feel free to share the video with them. I'll holler at you guys later. I hope everybody's having a great day. Peace.